All right, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us this afternoon. We are going to get things kicked off here. Hopefully everybody's had a few minutes there to join our webinar. So my name's Maddie McKenzie. I'm one of your hosts for this session. On the line also is my colleague Danny, who also is an enrollment advisor for Acadia, and then our favorite person, Hannah, is our producer. So thanks to Hannah there for doing all the behind the scenes work for us. So few housekeeping things. I'm sure you folks are well versed in it at this point, but we are using Microsoft Teams Live today, so it has about a 30-second delay for you folks. So there is a Q&A chat box. Feel free to use it throughout the session. If we don't cover the questions during the session, we will in the Q&A, the live Q&A at the end. So again, that 30-second delay, you might not see your question pop up right away. Just be patient. No need to kind of send in the same answer numerous times. It will eventually show up there. So another thing to note for anybody on the line that hasn't paid their application fee, if you've attended this event, our system will automatically waive your fee. So as long as you haven't paid that fee yet, you don't need to put in a code or scan any sort of QR code. Your email address that you signed up for to this event will automatically waive your fee when you go to apply. If you've already applied, it'll also waive that fee for you. So just to kind of get that out of the way, because we know we'll have a few questions about that at the end. So without further ado, I know most of you folks are from Nova Scotia. This presentation is catered to Nova Scotian students. If you aren't from Nova Scotia, no worries, you're more than welcome on the webinar. But we have advisors for every region in Canada and international advisors as well. So if you happen to find yourself on this webinar, you're from a different area of Canada or from outside of Canada, we have advisors who can help you. So we are located in the town of Wolfville. Sorry, I didn't mean to switch my slide there. So that is one thing that we always say kind of helps us stand out from other institutions and even institutions within Atlantic Canada. So, of course, we're lucky in Atlantic Canada. We have a wide range of post-secondary institutions for you students to choose from, and they're all fantastic. Another great thing about living in Canada, most universities are public universities, so funded by the government. They have government policies and procedures. You're not going to go wrong with an education in Canada, and that's something that we are very fortunate for in the country we live in. So what we like to say is you really want to find, the university that's the right fit for you. So maybe, larger institutions excite you. Smaller ones might be better off for you. I personally came from Ontario and I wanted sort of that smaller undergraduate experience. So that's why I started looking out east. And I just love the town of Wolfville also. It's definitely unmatched in the province. Tons of, cute little shops, local restaurants, tons and tons of local restaurants for you to choose from if you like food as much as I do. Cute cafes to study at. Of course, the beautiful Bay of Fundy with the highest tides in the world. So that's really, really cool to check out. Lots of outdoor hikes and those sorts of things if you're into that. So really, really cute town. You're there for your studies, but of course you're going to want to enjoy where you're living, of course, for the next 4 years. So the town is almost just as important as the institution, and make sure you check out all the towns that you might, potentially be living in for 4 years. So I'd just like to do a quick little campus tour on these sessions, just because, it's hopefully, we have reopened tours to Atlantic Bubble students, but of course not everybody's gonna be able to join us still. So just want to do a really brief overview of campus here. So at the top of the hill, we have your residence building. So this one here is Tower, Cutton, Chase. This is what we call the quad. So you have Christopher here on the left. You have Eaton right in front, Rojo to the right, and Chipman on the other, facing Eaton House there. So that's the quad. This is Dennis House over here. So this is where I lived in my first year. This was my room actually right there, top floor, second window in. I chose Dennis because of its very close proximity to Dining Hall, which is right here. So Dining Hall is kind of at the top of the hill with all the residences. Behind Dennis, this sort of U-shaped roof, you can only see the roof there. That is Whitman House. That is our only all-female residence building. All other residence buildings are co-ed, but you can definitely request, section floors or even alcohol-free floors, scent-free floors, quiet floors. So, whatever style of residence building and room you're looking for, You could definitely find it at Acadia. Kind of in the middle of campus, this white building is Seminary House. That's another residence. And over onto the left side of campus is War Memorial House, or as we call it, barracks. So those are all the residence buildings you have to choose from. There, it is guaranteed for your first year a spot in residence, so no need to worry there. It is a queued system, so if a particular building and room style is super important to you, we often recommend applying sooner rather than later. But they are guaranteed for you folks, so you could apply technically in July or August and still have a spot in residence. Just wanted to highlight a few other buildings on campus that you might be interested in. So here is the Casey Irving Environmental Science Building with this beautiful greenhouse here. This is a biology building. In front of bio building, you have the Patterson Business Building. It's kind of hard to see there. Next to Patterson, you have Horton. Beside Horton, you have the Huggins Science Complex. So this is a really big building on campus. Lots of science classes and labs are held here. It doesn't look like this anymore. This photo's a few years old, but it got a brand new $22 million renovation that just opened last year. So really, really cool stuff going on in that building now. Of course, the photo you see on all, our beautiful photos of Acadia, University Hall. So that is where you matriculate as a first-year student and convocate as a graduate. Over here is our student union building. So this is where you'll find, a lot of club offices, the Axe Bar and Lounge, our student bar and grill, safety and security office that's open 24/7, the Women's Center, the Pride Center. There's a couple of cute little cafes in there as well, and also lots of room for studying. And here is the BAC and the library. So the BAC is kind of on the right side of campus, and the right side of the building, and the library is on the left. So this is, even though it's called, the Beverage Arts Center, a lot of classes will be held in here as well, regardless of your program. And then, of course, we have Raymond Field and our athletics complex. So if there's any kin students on the line, you'll be having a lot of academic courses in our athletic complex. Anybody interested in varsity athletics or club or intramurals, you'll probably be spending a lot of time in that building as well and on Raymond Field. So it's just a quick, 5-minute overview of our campus tour. But again, campus tours are open. We'll have a slide on it later on. Really encourage you folks who are in the bubble to come check it out if possible. And we do have some open house time slots for campus tours as well, which Danny and I will speak about later on in the presentation. So I'm going to pass it over to Danny.
Hi everyone, like Maddie said, I'm Danny and I'm the other Nova Scotia Enrollment Advisor. So here at Acadia we have 3 faculties, Art, Science, and Professional Studies, 30 different majors within those 3 faculties and 200 degree options. So what I mean by that is if you're interested in 2 totally different things, you can definitely study both of them, and we have academic advisors available to help you with those decisions. So we've had students study like history and math, so 2 different things, 2 different faculties, but you can customize your own degree to what you're interested in, because we do realize that students are interested in multiple things. One thing to keep in mind is when you are filling out the application, you must list a faculty and a major. We know students don't know exactly what they're interested in at the beginning of their grade 12 year, so if you change your mind throughout the year, you can just email admissions@acadiau.ca and they'll be able to switch that program for you if you meet the admission requirements. We've had students change multiple times before they actually showed up on campus. And another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of students end up graduating in a different program than what they initially started in. So if you started in business and then you take a really cool sociology elective and you want to switch programs, academic advisors can help you switch that program. So you don't need to know exactly what you want to study, and you will change your mind multiple times. Our first faculty here is the Faculty of Arts. So we have lots of programs that make up that faculty, and you can definitely study a few. You can double major and a minor. And then we have multidisciplinary minors. So you can study legal studies with any of those programs, or Atlantic Canadian studies. And then we have a long list on our website. If you do have any specific questions, you can always reach out to myself or Maddie, and we'll be able to go into more detail about all those programs. And then our next faculty is the Pure and Applied Science faculty. So these are your typical science, biology, chemistry, but we also offer economics within the sciences or the arts, and psychology as well. So it just depends on what you're interested in studying with those. So you could study with the science or the arts. One program that I would like to point out is our 5-year math and education combined degree. So if you are interested in being a math teacher, you can definitely study both of those and graduate within 5 years. And then our next faculty is professional studies, and that makes up business, community development, kinesiology, music, and education. So typically with education, you have to complete an undergraduate degree beforehand, and then you can apply into our 2-year or 16-month education program. With any of our sciences, you can combine that with our health science option. So we do know a lot of students are interested in health sciences right now. They're interested in going to dentistry, medicine, things like that. So we do have a health science advisor who will sit down with you to make sure you're taking the correct classes to get into those programs. They also offer like MCAT mock interviews and things like that. So she is a good resource to have. So if you do have any questions about any of those programs or getting into those programs, you can definitely reach out to Helen and she'll be able to help you with that. We are primarily undergraduate university, so we don't actually offer any of these programs, but we've had students go on to those after graduating as well. Some specific admission guidelines. So we always look at English 12 or English 12 African Heritage. So no matter what program you're interested in, English 12 is required. And then 4 additional grade 12 academic or advanced courses. Right now, our average is 70%, unless you're interested in kinesiology or biology, and that average is always 75%. And if you are interested in any classes where math is a requirement, Math at Work is not an academic course and cannot be accepted as math, so you will have to take academic math or advanced math, pre-cal calculus. And then our specific admission guidelines are found on our admissions webpage. I'll post the link to that, just because if you are interested in studying chemistry, we will look at specific courses such as English 12, math, English, math, chemistry, and then 2 other academic classes. So we always look at 5 classes total. And now I will hand it back over to Maddie to discuss fees.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so this is our table of tuition and fees at Acadia. So most students here are Nova Scotia students, so you can see where your tuition would be, and then the rest of your additional fees. Some things that you could potentially opt out of are your ASU health plan and ASU dental plan. So you can opt out of those as long as you can provide proof of coverage. If you're under a parent's plan or a spouse's plan, something like that, you can definitely opt out of those. And we've also included in this chart an average single room cost for the year and an average double room cost for the year. So these fees are for the entire year. It's not, this per semester basically. So, that single room and that double room is sort of your all-inclusive 8-month lease that you would technically have living on campus. And then the 7-day meal plan, of course, is your buffet, unlimited style dining hall experience. So we like to say, if you're wanting that first year student experience living on campus, having a dining hall plan, you're looking at roughly $17,000 to $18,000 in your first year. Then, most students decide to live on campus for a year, sometimes 2, and then many move off campus into, student apartments, living with their friends, and typically you can save a bit of money there. Excuse me. But really, honestly, the 7-day dining hall plan, especially even if you're coming, from Nova Scotia, it's really nice to have the ease of it. You don't have to worry about grocery shopping or cooking or cleaning. So it's something to definitely consider, even if you are, local. Sometimes local students want to live at home, save some money. That's fantastic. But if you do want that on-campus experience, dining hall is a great option. So of course, university is an investment. There's no getting around that, but we do offer a lot of scholarship, bursary, and financial aid at Acadia. So definitely, there is support for our students, our prospective students, our current students. So the scholarship process is basically similar to other years. We have made a few changes this year. So If you are a student with an 80% average or above, so that's your entrance average, those are the courses that we're using to admit you to the program you apply to. So if your average is over 80, you're guaranteed an entrance scholarship. Every year it's a bit different depending on the scholarship pool, but basically they range anywhere from $850 to $10,000 renewable each year. So if you have an 80 or higher, again, that's automatic. If you have a 90 plus, you can fill out a scholarship application. So that basically just is an additional form along with 2 references that you fill out. So again, those are 90 plus students. You will receive instructions on this if you are eligible for it. If you think you've made that average, but you haven't received instructions in the next few weeks or so, definitely reach out to us. The calculation isn't just as easy as 5 top courses divided by 5. We might be calculating something different and using different grades for a particular reason. It's no secret, but you do have to reach out to our manager of admissions, Leanne, to get her read on which courses she's using. Bursaries are basically a financial award that is available to current students. So our bursary applications for our students that just came in this year will be opening soon, for example. So you don't have access to those yet, but they are available to current students. And then other forms of financial aid, for example, many faculties have program awards. So if a student does particularly well in a program one year, they can be awarded a program award. So again, those awards aren't available until you're an actual student on campus. Another way to make some money while you're a student is co-op. So co-op is a really, really great experience. Basically, it's 3 paid work terms in your field of study. Most students do 3, some do 4. But as you can see, it's offered in over 80% of our programs. And for any students out there interested in the arts, a lot of our programs in the arts have co-op as well, which is kind of, less common, I guess you would say. So really, really great opportunity to take advantage of. Last year, on average, Acadia students made $10,000 per work term, so roughly $30,000 by the time you're done your degree. And again, of course, you gain up to 1 year of professional work experience. So that is the main point there. To drive home, you're graduating with a year's worth of experience in your field, as opposed to all the other graduates that are graduating at the same time as you who don't have that experience. So you look much better to potential employers, much better to potential graduate programs if you're wanting to continue with your academics. So co-op is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend to all students, regardless on if you end up at Acadia or not. If the institution that you go to, has co-op or a work placement program within your department and your program, definitely look into it. So I'm going to pass this side over to Danny.
So we do have lots of different supports to help you on campus. So myself and Maddie are available to help you through all of the application processes, applying to residence, and then we'll help you with course registration later on. But then once you arrive on campus, we do have supports available to you. So we do have a counseling center, and in the past few years, they have hired more counselors. We also have a medical clinic located in the basement of one of our residence buildings, and you can book appointments online. And then we have 2 medical clinics off campus as well, where you can book appointments. And then we have accessible learning services. So if you have any accommodations in high school right now, we will continue those at Acadia. There are a few steps that you have to do beforehand. So to start this process, you just have to reach out to disability.access@acadiau.ca, or you can email myself and Maddie, and we can get that process started for you, just so we have that all set up for when you arrive on campus in September. So we do have 11 different residence buildings, rooms ranging from single rooms, double rooms, deluxe singles, and suites. And you are guaranteed a room in residence, like Maddie was saying, and you can stay as many years as you would like. So I lived in residence my first 2 years, and I loved it. That was where I met the majority of my friends. And a lot of students do end up living in residence, even if they live down the road or the town over, just because they want that university experience. You definitely don't have to live in residence. We just find that a lot of students do like living in residence, at least for their first year. Our residence application is now open, so it recently opened last week. So you pay your $150 confirmation deposit once you've been offered admission, and then the residence application will become available on your status portal. So if you fill out that application and then you place a $200 residence confirmation fee, you'll be placed in queue to pick your room later on in the year. So like Maddie was saying, if you really want a specific room, we encourage you to apply early, but you are guaranteed a room. Just don't wait until August if you have a certain room in mind. And you are able to choose roommates. So this year roommates, or all rooms are single rooms, but next year if restrictions ease up and you're allowed having roommates, you do complete a roommate matching profile, so you can fill out questions about you, and then you can pick roommates to match with, or if you have a friend in mind already, you can match with each other. When you are living in residence, you must purchase a meal plan, which is a bonus at Acadia, because it is open from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. every single day, and you can swipe in as many times as you would like. So it's not like some other schools where there's a declining balance or you only have 3 meals per day. So you can swipe in 10 times a day if you would like, if you just wanted to grab something quick to eat before bed or on your way to class. And then there's meals available at like the certain like breakfast, lunch, and dinner times. But then if you show up at 3 o'clock, so in between lunch and dinner, you can always make a sandwich or have a bowl of soup. So there's always food available. And then we also have a My Pantry section, so fully stocked kitchen with all the appliances, so you can create your own meals if you like cooking, or if you're missing something from home that day. And then we can also accommodate any dietary restrictions, so our chef can work with you to make sure that we're accommodating what you need. And now I'll hand it back over to Maddie.
Yeah, so just quickly here, one of the things that Acadia is definitely famous for is our community involvement and our students getting involved in, you know, multiple avenues within the community. So whether you're, you know, looking to do an intramural sport or a club sport, you want to volunteer in the local community, maybe you want to volunteer on the global community down in Honduras, the top left picture there. So there's a ton of ways to get involved. You'd be hard pressed to not get involved at Acadia, as many of your peers and your classmates and your friends will be doing, you know, stuff outside of the classroom. So that is one thing that we're really proud of, and it's very fun. You know, some of the best times you have in university are outside of the classroom, of course, and getting involved and making a difference in your community. Sounds super cliche and super cheesy, you know, but on a smaller scale and in a smaller scale community, you really can make a huge difference. And, you know, Acadia has a fantastic relationship with Wolfville and the surrounding areas, so there's always a lot of opportunity, and, you know, organizations, community groups, they always invite our students back. So if you know, are interested in athletics as well, we have sort of 3 tiers of athletics. So the first tier, you know, the most competitive and definitely the most time consuming would be varsity athletics. So typically you're practicing pretty much every day. You have at least 1 game a week usually, depending, you know, on the time of season. So very competitive, but very, very fun. We have 11 different teams to choose from. And second tier would be club sports. So club sports is still competitive, not as competitive as varsity. You still play other institutions who also have club teams, but, you know, it's a bit less of a time commitment than varsity would be. So maybe you're practicing once or twice a week, and depending on the sport you're interested in, your game schedule could be different as well. And then there's intramurals. So if you're looking at just, you know, staying in shape, or you know, keeping involved in a sport that you love, but maybe you don't want too much time commitment that, you know, varsity and club demands, or, you know, meet new friends, intramurals is a fantastic opportunity for that. So I was a varsity athlete at Acadia for 4 years, and I played a club sport as well, and I also tried a few intramurals. So if you have specific questions with that, or if you are a varsity athlete and you're looking at, you know, how do I start the recruitment process with my coach, definitely happy to help you with that. One piece of advice I would give any of you out there is that it's never too early to reach out. So, you know, coaches can't be all across the country all the time. So, you know, sometimes people think that you need to be recruited to be a varsity athlete. That's not the case. I definitely recommend reaching out. There's recruitment forms online that you can fill out, and just reaching out directly to the coach as soon as possible. So like I mentioned, earlier, our campus tours are back, so you can book campus tours online. You have to be within the Atlantic bubble. So again, if there are any students on the line outside of the Atlantic bubble, unfortunately, you can't book a tour at this time unless, of course, you do the 2-week isolation that is mandatory in Atlantic Canada. But you can reach out to Leah, who is our campus tour coordinator, and she will happily help you book a tour, but there is a link online to do it yourself. So I know you can't click the link down at the bottom there, but we will pop it in the chat for you. Another thing to mention, our open house week is coming up. So I'm sure some of you folks on the line have, a sibling or a friend that attended Acadia's open house in the past. It's usually, a one-day event. We host 2 of them in the fall. They're great events. You get to, tour campus, meet faculty, meet current students. It's going to look a little differently this year just to keep everyone safe. So on November 12th and 13th, we have, an expanded capacity for campus tours. So nothing is happening with faculty in person those days. There's just more space for people to book campus tours if they're interested in coming to check it out. Campus tours are modified, explains it on the website. Again, just to keep our current students, our faculty, our staff, and of course you folks, our guests, safe. So, traditional stops on the tour will be modified. We're not allowing any guests to enter our residence buildings just because, these are people's homes. We want as little touch points as possible in these areas for our current students. But all of that, again, is listed on our campus tour site. And then there is a virtual component to open house, which is on November 14th. Here's our postcard, sorry there. So November 14th, there is an open house virtual event. So that is a Saturday that's going to have sort of all of your faculty sessions going onto the virtual world there, just to, again, keep everybody safe. So mark those dates in your calendar. You can sign up for all of those awesome sessions on our Future Students page. Just Google Acadia Future Students and all of that info will be there. If you can't find it, if you're having a hard time registering, again, of course, just reach out to Danielle or myself and we'd be happy to help you. If you want to follow along, we do post updates on all of our social media handles here. So all of the handles are new to Acadia U. Of course, this is Danny and I. I mostly cover HRM and the eastern side of the province. So, up through Cobequid, Amherst, into Cape Breton. Danielle covers the western side of the province, so the Annapolis Valley and down the South Shore. So reach out to one of us if you have any trouble. And now we have lots of time here for a live Q&A. So this is perfect. We do like answering your specific questions, and we find that this time of year it's definitely nice to get your one-on-one questions answered. So again, if you want to pop them into the chat box, we will answer them on a first come, first served basis. So Danny's popped a few links in there already. Thanks, Danny. Our specific admission guidelines link she posted. She posted the link to book a campus tour. That's that second one. And an open house registration and schedule. She's so quick. Thanks, Danny. And our emails also. So again, folks on the line, feel free to type your questions. We don't have any yet. We will wait, a minute or so just for the buffer time there, the Teams Live lag. So please don't be shy. Feel free to ask any questions you have. All right, well, it looks like we haven't had any come in, so I'm gonna wrap things up here just with a few last minute notes, and if we have one pop in, we'll definitely answer it for you. But again, if you think of any questions, after the session, our emails have been popped into the chat box there. Thank you, Jenna. Thanks for the comment, Jenna. But anyways, I'm sure nobody's upset about a webinar going slightly under time. I'm sure all you folks are pretty exhausted from watching so many videos. So again, reach out to us. We actually have a booking link that you can book one-on-one meetings with us too. So if you'd rather, sit down with Danielle or myself and have all your questions answered that way, you can book a personal one-on-one advising session with us. It's automatically linked up to our calendars. So you can, check out when we're available. Of course, you can see which regions we cover. So if you're a Halifax student, you book with me, or if you're from Cape Breton, you book with me, Truro. If you're from the Valley or, Digby, Yarmouth, Barrington, you'd book with Danielle. So please be cognizant of that. Okay, we actually have a question in here, I believe. So we'll get these answered quickly. Okay, how many credits does major and minor consist of? So basically a university degree is 120 credit hours. So you're taking, 40 courses when it's all said and done, 10 courses per year. So a minor, I believe, is 6 courses of any secondary subject. And then your major, all majors have different requirements. So it really depends on the routes you take. All of that information is posted in our online academic calendar. It's tough to say, for biology, for example, there's different streams within the biology department. So of course, in your first year, you need your intro biology courses and labs. You take your intro chemistry courses and labs, your intro math courses and labs, and you have, in biology, for example, 4 slots for electives in the year, so 2 in each semester. So you could take, your minor there. Music is a hard example because it's in our professional studies department. So music is definitely a harder one to minor in because a lot of the courses aren't open to non-majors. There are a select few music courses that are open to non-majors, but that's something that you would have to discuss directly with the music department to see if it's possible with that combination. So sometimes, the professional studies degrees like music, kinesiology, business, sometimes they're a little bit harder to double major in and to minor in. You can get into some of the courses, though. It's just, sort of specific and case by case.
And before you register for classes, you will be academically advised. So they'll make sure you're taking the correct classes to obtain that major. And if you are double majoring, they'll make sure you're taking the right classes to obtain both of those majors. So you will be advised every single year. And then the next part of the question for that was, how can we waive our application fee? So for attending this event, it will automatically be waived. So once you fill out the application, you would submit it, and then your status portal, it will show up as waived within 15 minutes. So you don't need to worry about putting in a code or anything like that. Just wait a few more seconds to see if any more questions pop in here.
All right, well, I think we're good to go. Again, as mentioned before, if you have questions after this session, please reach out to Danny or myself. We look forward to working with you throughout the year. It's definitely an interesting time to be a grade 12 student. So we're here to help with anything you need. If we don't know the answer for you, we will find somebody who does for sure. So thank you all for joining us today. We hope this answered most of your questions. Again, that app fee will automatically be waived for attending the session, so no need to worry about that, like Danny mentioned. So thank you all very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.